Oklahoma Republican Congressman Tom Cole is the Deputy Majority Whip in the House. And Congressman, I want to talk about that in just a moment. First, I want to get your take to the climate deal with China. What will the House GOP make of that?
Well, I think they'll be a little worried that the deal evidently is not going to go before the Congress of the United States for approval. Again, without seeing the specifics, it's hard to say beyond that. They're always a little worried when the executive branch basically bypasses the legislature, gets agreements with foreign countries, and doesn't put them before the Senate the way it should.
Let's talk about what Congressman Clyburn just brought up there. Will you at this point rule out any effort in the House to bring impeachment proceedings against President Obama?
You know, the only people I ever hear talk about impeachment are Democrats, and I think it's always for political purposes. You know, I certainly don't see any legislation.
Congressman, you know that's not true. You've heard some of your Republican colleagues over the past 6 months at least talk about.
Very seldom, and usually in response to something Democrats have said. You know, no impeachment legislation is pending. None has been proposed. I know of no one who favors that as a course, you know, that's in any leadership position. So, again, I think this is a Democratic fantasy, and I certainly don't see it coming to pass.
Okay. You told your colleagues here at MSNBC earlier this week that there will, quote, probably be movement on immigration by House Republicans. What's going to determine whether that happens, and what kind of reform do you think could pass that the president would actually sign?
Well, there's a couple of things. Number one, I think the president does make it much more difficult if he moves ahead unilaterally the way he's threatened to do. And that really does poison the well, because it makes people wonder whether or not he'll actually keep any agreement you negotiate. I think the Speaker laid out last year really the appropriate formula, which is step by step. We've got 4 bills that have actually passed the Judiciary Committee that deal with certain aspects of immigration reform. One is seasonal labor. Another one is HB1 visa reform, or high-tech visa reform, so people that come and are educated in the United States and have positions have the ability to stay here and continue to contribute to our economy. I think all sides agree that the border needs to be more secure. Mike McCall, the chairman of the Homeland Security Committee, has got a really good and bipartisan border security bill. So I think you advance one step at a time down the road, and as people see certain things can get done, I think the possibility for more things opens up.
Let's look ahead to December here. Are you going to insist on a long-term spending bill, or are you and your House colleagues going to be okay with another short-term extension?
I think a short-term extension, in my view, is a mistake. I actually agree very much we should have a long-term bill. We should pass an omnibus spending bill similar to what the president's requested. That'll give us stability through at least September 30th of next year. I think that's an important thing. I hope we get the tax extenders passed as well. I think we will. It'll give us tax certainty for Americans individually and certainly American companies. And finally, I hope we start work and even conclude a new authorization for action against ISIL. That's something the president's asked for. We need to get rid of old authorizations that allow the executive branch to go to war almost any place, any time, and that most members haven't voted on. So those would be very constructive things to do in the next couple months. I think they're doable.
Congressman Cole, congrats on the re-election, sir. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.